I was holding the hotel key card when I realized my marriage was a lie. Not just any hotel, the same one where we'd spent our wedding night 7 years ago. The same one where he'd promised to take me back every anniversary. Except this time the reservation wasn't for us. It was for him and my sister. But let me take you back to where this nightmare really began. Back to 3 months before our 7th anniversary, when I still believed I was the luckiest woman alive. Back when I thought Tyler and I had the kind of love people wrote songs about. Back when I trusted both my husband and my sister with my whole heart. I met Tyler when I was 24, working as a nurse at Seattle General. He came into the ER with a broken arm from a basketball game, and I was the one who assisted with his x-rays. I still remember how he kept making jokes even though I could tell he was in pain, trying to make me smile. "If I'd known getting hurt would mean meeting someone like you," he said, "I would have fallen off that court months ago." It was cheesy. It was perfect. It was exactly what I needed to hear after a 12-hour shift. We dated for 2 years before he proposed, and they were 2 of the best years of my life. Tyler was everything I thought I wanted. Ambitious, charming, attentive. He worked in tech sales, always closing deals, always bringing home stories about his victories at work. He made good money, enough that I could switch to part-time nursing after we got married, thinking maybe we'd start a family soon. Our wedding was small but beautiful. 50 people at a vineyard outside the city, string lights everywhere, my sister Emma as my maid of honor. She'd helped me with everything, the dress, the flowers, the seating chart. We'd always been close, even though she was 3 years younger. She was the one I called when I needed to vent about work or wanted advice about Tyler. She was my best friend. That first year of marriage was exactly what I'd dreamed it would be. Tyler would surprise me with flowers on random Tuesdays. We'd have lazy Sunday mornings in bed, planning the future, kids' names, where we'd travel, what our dream house would look like. He'd kiss me goodbye every morning before work, even if I was still half asleep. "Love you, gorgeous," he'd whisper, and I'd smile into my pillow. Our first anniversary, Tyler took me back to the Cascade Grand Hotel, the same place we'd spent our wedding night. He'd booked the same suite, the one with the view of the city lights. There was champagne waiting, rose petals on the bed, the whole romantic setup. "Every year," he promised, holding me close on the balcony as we watched the sunset. "Every single anniversary, I'm bringing you back here. This is our place." I cried happy tears that night. I actually cried because I felt so lucky, so loved, so secure in what we had. God, I was so stupid. By our 2nd anniversary, things were still good. The hotel tradition continued. Tyler seemed maybe a little more distracted with work, but I understood. He'd just gotten promoted to senior account manager. The job was demanding, lots of travel, late nights. But he still made time for us, still called me during the day just to hear my voice, still held my hand when we watched movies. Emma was around a lot during this time. She'd gone through a bad breakup and was living with us temporarily while she got back on her feet. I was happy to have her there. Tyler didn't seem to mind either. He'd joke around with her at dinner, help her move furniture in the guest room. They got along great, which made sense. They were both important to me, so of course they'd bond. Looking back now, I can see when things started to shift. It was subtle at first, so subtle I didn't even register it as wrong. The first thing I noticed was Tyler's phone habits. He'd always been pretty casual about his phone. Would leave it lying around, wouldn't freak out if I picked it up to check the time. But about 6 months before our 7th anniversary, that changed. Started small. I'd reach for his phone to look up a restaurant menu while he was driving, and he'd flinch. "I got it," he'd say quickly, grabbing it back. "Just tell me what you want to know. I can just look myself." I'd say, confused. No, it's fine. Got it. Just I have some work stuff open. Confidential client information, you know how it is. I did know how it was. His job dealt with sensitive accounts. So I let it go. Then he started taking his phone everywhere. Bathroom. Kitchen when he got water at night. Even just walking from the living room to the bedroom. The phone went with him, always face down, always locked. When I mentioned it once, not accusatory, just curious, he got defensive. Why are you monitoring my phone usage? He snapped. I'm not, I just. It's for work, Sarah. I'm sorry if my career bothers you. And just like that, I was the bad guy for even noticing. So I stopped bringing it up. I told myself I was being paranoid, insecure, ridiculous. The second sign was his relationship with Emma. They'd always gotten along, but sometime around month 5 before the anniversary, they started having these inside jokes I wasn't part of. I'd walk into the kitchen and they'd both go quiet, then laugh about something I didn't understand. What's funny? I'd ask, feeling left out in my own home. Nothing, Emma would say, but she'd glance at Tyler with this look I couldn't read. Just something that happened earlier. You had to be there. I'd shrug it off. They were both adults, both extroverts. Course they'd bond. I was just being sensitive. But then I noticed Emma started dressing differently when she knew Tyler would be home. She'd gone from lounging in sweats to always being in makeup, nice clothes, hair done. When I asked about it, she said she was trying to feel better about herself after the breakup, get her confidence back. That made sense, right? That was normal. That was healthy. The third sign was Tyler's schedule. His late nights at work increased dramatically. 2, 3, sometimes 4 nights a week. He wouldn't get home until 10 or 11 p.m., sometimes later. He'd come in smelling like cologne, not his usual scent, something stronger, and head straight for the shower. Rough day. Ask. You have no idea, he'd say, not meeting my eyes. I'm exhausted. Just gonna shower and crash. And he would. No conversation, no connection, just straight to bed. On the nights when I tried to initiate intimacy, he'd claim he was too tired, too stressed, too much on his mind with work. Our sex life went from regular and satisfying to maybe once every 2 weeks. And even then it felt mechanical, like he was going through the motions. I told myself it was the stress. He was working so hard, providing for us, building his career. I needed to be understanding, supportive. That's what good wives did. The fourth sign was money. Tyler had always handled our finances. He was better with numbers, he said, and I was happy to let him manage it. But I started noticing charges on our credit card statement that didn't make sense. Restaurants I'd never heard of, in neighborhoods we never went to. When I asked about them, Tyler always had an explanation. Client dinner. Team building event. Networking lunch. All reasonable. All believable. All lies, as I'd later discover. The fifth sign was his treatment of me. Tyler had always been affectionate, attentive. But as our 7th anniversary approached, he became distant. Not mean exactly, just absent. Like I was a roommate he was polite to rather than a wife he loved. He stopped asking about my day. Stopped leaving little notes. Stopped initiating those random kitchen dances we used to do while cooking dinner. When I tried to talk to him about it, tried to reconnect, he'd say he was fine, everything was fine, I was overthinking things. Maybe you should talk to someone, he suggested once. Like a therapist. You seem really anxious lately. Making me question my own perception of reality. That should have been the biggest red flag of all. The sixth sign happened about 2 months before our anniversary. I came home from a grocery run to find Tyler and Emma sitting very close together on the couch. Her hand on his arm, both of them jumping apart when I walked in. Hey! Emma said too brightly. We were just... Tyler was helping me with my resume. On the couch. Yes. Yeah, my laptop's more comfortable here than at the desk, she said, not quite meeting my eyes. Tyler just shrugged, already back on his phone. What's for dinner? He asked like nothing had happened. Maybe nothing had. Maybe I was seeing things that weren't there. Maybe I was being paranoid. But deep down, in a place I wasn't ready to acknowledge, I knew. Some part of me knew. The seventh and final warning sign came 3 weeks before our anniversary. I woke up at 2 a.m. to an empty bed. Tyler wasn't beside me. I got up thinking maybe he couldn't sleep, maybe he was getting water. But he wasn't in the kitchen. Wasn't in the bathroom. I checked the guest room. Emma's door was cracked open, and her bed was empty too. My heart started racing. I went downstairs, and that's when I heard it. Voices outside. Quiet laughter. I looked out the back window and saw them in the yard. Tyler and Emma, sitting on the patio furniture, close together, talking in hushed tones. As I watched, Emma threw her head back laughing at something he said, and Tyler's hand reached out to touch her knee. Just for a second. Then he pulled it back. I stood there frozen, watching them through the glass. Part of me wanted to march out there, demand to know what they were doing. But another part of me, the part that was terrified of the answer, made me turn away. I went back to bed and pretended to be asleep when Tyler came back up 20 minutes later. He slipped into bed beside me, and I could smell cigarette smoke on him even though he'd quit smoking years ago. "Sarah," he whispered. I kept my eyes closed, kept my breathing even. He sighed and rolled over. Within minutes he was asleep. I lay there until dawn, my mind racing, my heart breaking, trying to convince myself I was wrong. They were just friends. He was just being nice to my sister. I was being crazy, jealous, irrational. I wanted so desperately to be wrong. The first real incident that I couldn't rationalize away happened 2 weeks before our anniversary. I was supposed to work a full shift, but there was a staffing mix-up and they sent me home early. I texted Tyler to let him know I'd be home by 3 instead of 7, thinking maybe we could have an actual evening together for once. He didn't respond to my text. That should have been my first clue. I got home and the house was quiet. Too quiet. Emma's car was in the driveway, but Tyler's wasn't. Weird, since he'd told me he was working from home that day. I went inside calling out for Emma. No answer. I climbed the stairs to her room. Her door was closed, which wasn't unusual, but something made me stop before knocking. I heard movement inside. Then I heard Tyler's laugh. Tyler's laugh. Coming from my sister's bedroom. At 3 in the afternoon on a Wednesday. I stood there for what felt like hours but was probably only seconds, my hand raised to knock, my heart pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. Then the rational part of my brain kicked in with explanations. Maybe he'd come home and was helping her with something. Maybe they were planning a surprise for me. Maybe. I knocked. Complete silence. Then scrambling sounds. The door opened about 30 seconds later. Emma stood there in leggings and a tank top, her face flushed, hair messy. "Sarah, you're home early." "Yeah, I texted Tyler." "Is he here?" "Tyler." She sounded confused, but her eyes told a different story. "No, why would he be here?" And that's when Tyler's voice called up from downstairs. "Sarah. That you, babe?" Emma and I locked eyes. I saw the panic in hers before she covered it with a smile. "Oh, he must have just gotten here," she said. "I was napping. Didn't hear him come in." I went downstairs. Tyler was standing in the kitchen, his laptop bag on the counter. He kissed my cheek, casual as anything. "Hey, gorgeous. How was work?" "Fine. You said you were working from home today." Had to run out for a client meeting. Just got back. His shirt was buttoned wrong. Just slightly. Enough that the collar sat uneven. I noticed, but I didn't say anything. Instead, I went to the counter and opened his laptop bag, my heart racing. It was still zipped up tight, the laptop cold to the touch. He'd been gone for more than just a quick meeting. "You okay?" Tyler asked, watching me with an expression I couldn't read. "Fine," I lied. "Just tired. That night I couldn't eat dinner." Emma made excuses and took her plate to her room. Tyler sat across from me, scrolling through his phone, completely at ease. Like nothing had happened. Like I hadn't caught them in a lie. Because that's what it was, wasn't it? Lie. They'd both lied to me. I lay in bed that night and listened to Tyler's breathing, wondering who the man next to me really was. Wondering if I'd ever actually known him at all. The second incident happened 1 week before our anniversary. Tyler told me he had a work trip, 2 days in Portland for a conference. He'd be leaving Thursday morning, back Friday night. It was last minute, he said. Unavoidable. I helped him pack, kissed him goodbye, told him to have a safe trip. Then I did something I'd never done before. I checked our credit card transactions. There was no flight to Portland. No hotel in Portland. But there was a charge to the Cascade Grand Hotel. Our anniversary hotel. For Thursday night. The room was booked under his name. I sat there staring at my phone, the evidence right in front of me, my whole world tilting sideways. He was going to our special place. Without me. While lying about being in Portland. I should have confronted him right then. Should have called him out, demanded answers. But I didn't. Because confronting him meant facing the truth. And I wasn't ready for that yet. So I did nothing. I just sat there with this information burning a hole in my chest, trying to breathe. Emma left the house that same Thursday morning, saying she was going to spend the weekend with friends. She hugged me goodbye, told me to enjoy having the place to myself for once. I spent that Thursday night alone in our house, knowing my husband was at our special hotel with someone, probably my sister, and I did nothing. I just sat on the couch, drinking wine, crying silently, hating myself for being too weak to face it. Tyler came home Friday night like nothing had happened. "How was Portland?" I asked, my voice hollow. "Productive," he said. "Boring conference stuff. Missed you though." "Did you?" The words came out before I could stop them. He looked at me strangely. "Of course. Why would you ask that?" "No reason," I said. "Just missed you too." He kissed my forehead and went to shower. When he came out, he smelled like hotel soap. Not the kind from Portland conference centers. The kind from the Cascade Grand. I knew that smell. I'd showered with those soaps on our previous anniversaries. The evidence was literally right there, and still I said nothing. The third incident was the worst. It happened 3 days before our anniversary. I was at work when I got a text from an unknown number. Just a photo, no message. Opened it. It was Tyler and Emma. At a restaurant. Sitting on the same side of the booth. His arm around her shoulders, her head tilted toward him. The photo was slightly blurry, taken from across the restaurant, but it was unmistakably them. And unmistakably intimate. I couldn't breathe. Right there in the hospital break room, surrounded by coworkers, I couldn't breathe. Someone asked if I was okay. I nodded, grabbed my stuff, told them I was sick, and left. I drove around for hours, that photo burning in my mind. I must have looked at it 100 times, zooming in, trying to find some other explanation. Maybe it was an old photo. Maybe it was photoshopped. Maybe they were just being friendly and someone took it wrong. But I knew. God help me, I knew. When I finally went home, both of them were there. Tyler was grilling burgers in the backyard. Emma was making a salad in the kitchen. They both smiled when they saw me. "There you are," Tyler called through the window. "Thought you were working until 8. "Came home early," I said. "Not feeling well." Emma came over, touched my forehead. "You do look pale. Want me to make you some tea?" I stared at her. My sister. My best friend. The woman in that photo with my husband. And I wanted to scream, to throw something, to demand the truth. But instead I just said, "No thanks. I'm going to lie down." I went upstairs and lay in the dark, listening to them laugh together downstairs, smelling the burgers cooking, feeling like I was watching my life from outside my body. That night, Tyler tried to make love to me. I let him, but I felt nothing. Just numb. Hollow. Like I was already a ghost in my own life. "I love you," he whispered afterward. I didn't say it back. Our 7th anniversary fell on a Saturday. Tyler had been sweet all week, building up to it, acting like the husband he used to be. Flowers on Tuesday. A love note on Wednesday. A promise that this anniversary would be special, that he had something planned. Emma had conveniently planned to be away that weekend. "You two should have your anniversary to yourselves," she said Thursday night. "I'll stay with Kelly." I should have known then. I should have seen it coming. Saturday morning, Tyler woke me up with breakfast in bed. Pancakes, strawberries, coffee. "Happy anniversary, gorgeous," he said, kissing me softly. "Happy anniversary," I whispered back, trying to remember what it felt like to mean it. "Get dressed nice," he said. "I'm taking you somewhere special at 7. "The hotel?" I asked, even though I already knew. "The hotel," he confirmed with a smile. "Our tradition." Except it wasn't our tradition anymore, was it? He'd already been there. With her. I spent the day in a fog, going through the motions. Showered. Did my hair. Put on the red dress Tyler liked. Applied makeup with shaking hands. I looked in the mirror and barely recognized the woman staring back. At 6:30, Tyler was still getting ready upstairs. I was pacing the living room, that photo from the unknown number still haunting me. Who had sent it? Who else knew what was happening? That's when Tyler's phone buzzed on the coffee table. He'd left it there while he showered. Unusual for him. Without thinking, I picked it up. The notification on the lock screen made my blood run cold. "Emma. Can't wait for tonight. I'm already at the hotel. Room 547. Room 547. Not our usual suite. A different room." My hand started shaking so hard I nearly dropped the phone. I unlocked it. His password was my birthday, ironically, and opened the messages. There were hundreds of them. Months and months of messages between Tyler and Emma. I scrolled through them, each one worse than the last. "Can't stop thinking about you. Sarah almost caught us today. That was close. I hate lying to her, but I can't give you up. When are you going to tell her? I'm tired of waiting. Soon. After the anniversary. I promise." Photos. So many photos. Emma in lingerie I'd never seen. Tyler shirtless. Them together in our bed while I was at work. Videos. God, there were videos. I couldn't watch them. I couldn't look away. There were messages from our wedding day. From before the wedding. They'd been together for over 3 years. Since before Emma moved in. The breakup that brought her to us had been fake. Planned. So they could be closer. Everything was a lie. I heard Tyler coming down the stairs, singing under his breath. Happy. Free. Planning to do this, to keep doing this, right under my nose. I stood there with his phone in my hands, my entire life crumbling around me, and I felt something inside me die. The part of me that had loved him, trusted him, believed in us. It just died right there in the living room at 6:45 p.m. on our 7th anniversary. Tyler appeared at the bottom of the stairs, looking handsome in the suit I'd bought him for Christmas. He smiled when he saw me, then noticed his phone in my hands. His face changed. I watched the color drain from it. "Sarah," he started. "Room 547, I said. My voice didn't sound like mine. It was cold. "Me. Emma's already there, waiting for you." He opened his mouth, closed it, opened it again. "I can explain." "Can you?" I heard myself laugh. It was a horrible sound. "Can you explain 3 years? Can you explain my sister? Can you explain every single lie you've told me since we got married? Sarah, please. Were you ever going to tell me? Or were you just going to keep me around as the stupid wife while you fucked my sister?" I'd never sworn at him before. Never raised my voice like that. He actually flinched. It wasn't supposed to happen like this," he stammered. "We never meant to hurt you. You never meant to hurt me." I felt something hot behind my eyes. Rage. Pure burning rage. "You've been sleeping with my sister for 3 years and you never meant to hurt me? I love her." He said it quietly, but it hit like a bomb. "I'm sorry, Sarah. I didn't mean to, but I fell in love with her." "When?" I demanded. "When did it start? Before the wedding? During the wedding? On our fucking wedding night?" No, not. It started about 6 months after Emma moved in. We were just talking one night while you were at work, and it just happened." "It just happened," I repeated numbly. "Nothing just happens, Tyler. You made a choice. Every single day for 3 years, you both made a choice." "I know." He ran his hands through his hair, and I saw his hands were shaking too. "I know, and I'm sorry, but I can't keep pretending. I love her. We want to be together." "Then go." The words came out flat, dead. "Room 547. She's waiting." "That's where you were going anyway, wasn't it? You were just going to fuck me first to keep up appearances." "Sarah, get out." I screamed it. Screamed it so loud my throat hurt. "Get out of my house. Get out and go to her." He stood there for a long moment, and I saw something in his face. Not regret. Not shame. Relief. He was relieved that it was finally out in the open. "I'll come back tomorrow for my things," he said quietly. "No, you won't. I'll have them on the lawn. You're never setting foot in this house again." He nodded. Started to leave. Then turned back. "For what it's worth," he said, "I really did love you once. Get the fuck out before I call the police and tell them you're trespassing." He left. I heard his car start, heard it pull out of the driveway. Heard the sound of my marriage driving away to my sister. And then I was alone. I stood there in my red dress, full makeup, hair done perfect, ready for an anniversary dinner that was never going to happen. I looked down at Tyler's phone, still in my hand. Still open to those messages. There was one I hadn't seen before. From Emma, sent earlier that day. "I hope she cries when you tell her. She deserves it for keeping you from me for so long." That's when I broke. I don't remember falling to the floor. I don't remember starting to scream. But my neighbor later told me she heard me and almost called 911 because she thought someone was being murdered. In a way, someone was. The version of me who had trusted, who had loved, who had believed in the goodness of people. She died that night on the living room floor. I don't know how long I lay there. Hours maybe. At some point I stopped crying because there were no tears left. I just lay on the cold floor in my anniversary dress, staring at the ceiling, feeling nothing. My phone rang eventually. I ignored it. It rang again. And again. Finally I looked. "Hey, Mom." I answered without thinking. "Sarah." Sweetheart, why haven't you? Are you okay? No, I said. My voice was hoarse from screaming. No, I'm not okay. What happened? Where's Tyler? Aren't you supposed to be at dinner? He's with Emma. I laughed again, that same awful sound. At the hotel, where we spent our wedding night. He's there with my sister. Silence on the other end. Then, what did you just say? They've been having an affair. For 3 years. They're in love. He left me for her. More silence. Then my mother said something I'd never heard her say before. That son of a bitch. I'm coming over. No, Mom. I'm coming over right now. Don't you dare tell me no. She hung up. I dropped the phone and closed my eyes. My mother arrived 45 minutes later with my dad. They found me still on the floor, still in the dress. My mom's face when she saw me. I'll never forget it. She looked like someone had punched her. She got me up, got me to the couch, wrapped me in a blanket even though it wasn't cold. My dad stood in the corner, his jaw clenched, his hands in fists. Tell me everything, Mom said. So I did. Every suspicion, every ignored red flag, every lie. I showed her the messages on Tyler's phone. She read through them, her face getting paler and paler. When she got to Emma's message about wanting me to cry, my mom actually threw the phone. Just hurled it across the room where it hit the wall and shattered. I'm calling her, she said. Mom, I'm calling your sister right now. She used her own phone. Put it on speaker. Emma answered on the second ring. Hey, Mom. What's up? What's up? My mother's voice was ice. What's up is that I just found your sister sobbing on the floor because you've been sleeping with her husband. Silence. Emma. You there? Mom, it's not. It's complicated. Complicated. You fucked your sister's husband and it's complicated. We're in love. Emma's voice rose, defensive. You don't understand. You're right, I don't understand. I don't understand how I raised a daughter who could do this to her own sister. I don't understand how you could look Sarah in the eye every single day while betraying her. I don't understand how you sleep at night. Sarah kept him from me. If she'd been a better wife. My mother hung up. Just hung up and sat there shaking. Did she really? I started. Don't, Mom said. Don't you dare let her make this your fault. None of this is your fault. But part of me wondered. If I'd been prettier, sexier, more fun, would Tyler have stayed faithful? If I'd paid more attention, been less trusting, would I have caught them sooner? The next few days were a blur. My parents stayed with me. My dad went to the house where Tyler and Emma were. Yes, they'd gotten a place together. Turned out they'd been planning this for months and got my things. All my clothes, my photos, my personal items. He wouldn't let me go there, wouldn't let me see them. You don't need to see that, he said. Trust me. Friends started calling. Word had gotten out. Some people took my side. Some people I thought were my friends, said I should have seen it coming, should have paid more attention to my marriage, maybe should have tried harder to keep my husband interested. I blocked those people. Work gave me 2 weeks off. My supervisor, Linda, came by to drop off flowers. She held my hand and told me about her own divorce, her own betrayal. You'll survive this, she said. I know it doesn't feel like it now, but you will. I wanted to believe her. Tyler texted me on day 3. I'm sorry. I blocked his number. Emma tried to call. Blocked her too. My mother called Emma's number from her phone and told her in no uncertain terms that she had 2 daughters before this, but now she only had 1. Emma cried and begged, but Mom hung up and blocked her too. She made her choice, Mom said. Now she has to live with it. On day 5 I got served with divorce papers. Tyler wanted it done quickly, cleanly. He was offering me the house, half of everything, no contest. He just wanted out. I signed them. Felt nothing. On day 7 I went back to the house. I shouldn't have, but I needed to see it. Needed to face it. The guest room, Emma's room, still had some of her things. I went through her closet and found a box shoved in the back. Inside were photos. Dozens of them. Tyler and Emma together, dating back years. Some from before the wedding. One from my wedding day. Them kissing in a hallway while I was taking photos with my bridesmaids. They documented their affair. Kept mementos. Like it was something to be proud of. I took the box and burned it in the backyard. Watched every photo curl and blacken and turn to ash. Should have made me feel better. Didn't. 2 weeks after my world ended, I had to decide what to do with my life. Option 1. Stay in the house. Keep my job. Rebuild here, in the place where everything had happened. Option 2. Leave. Start over somewhere new. Run away from all of it. Option 3. Fight back. Make them pay somehow. Ruin them the way they'd ruined me. I spent hours weighing these options. I talked to a therapist, Dr. Chen, a kind woman with gentle eyes who didn't judge me when I admitted I'd fantasized about revenge. It's normal, she said. You're grieving. Anger is part of that. I want to hurt them, I confessed. I want them to feel even a fraction of what I feel. And would that make you feel better? Would it? I thought about Emma losing her job, her reputation. Tyler losing clients, friends. Both of them facing the same judgment and whispers I was facing. Maybe, I said honestly. Maybe, Dr. Chen agreed. Or maybe it would just make you someone you don't want to be. That hit hard. I thought about the person I'd been before this. Trusting, kind, optimistic. Was I willing to lose that person completely? Was I willing to become bitter and vengeful? My best friend from college, Jess, came to visit during this time. She flew in from Denver, took one look at me, and burst into tears. "Oh, Sarah," she said, hugging me tight. "I'm so sorry." We talked for hours. She told me about her own divorce years ago. "You have 2 paths," she said. "You can let this break you, or you can let it make you. But you can't do both." How do I let it make me? Yes. By surviving it. By proving that you're stronger than what they did to you. By building a life so good that they regret ever letting you go. I like that idea. The best revenge is living well, right? But another part of me, the hurt, angry part, wanted them to suffer. I had those photos still, the ones from Emma's box that I'd photographed before burning. I could post them online. Tag them. Let everyone see what they'd done. I actually drafted the post. Wrote out every detail, attached every photo. My finger hovered over the share button. Dr. Chen's words echoed. "Would that make you feel better?" I deleted the draft. Instead, I made different choices. I kept the house but redecorated it completely. New furniture, new paint, new everything. I erased every trace of Tyler, every memory of our life together. I went back to work full-time. Threw myself into nursing, into helping people, into being good at something. I blocked Tyler and Emma on every platform. Told my friends I didn't want to hear about them, didn't want updates. I started seeing Dr. Chen twice a week. I joined a divorce support group. I learned to be alone. It wasn't easy. God, it wasn't easy. There were nights I cried myself to sleep. Days I couldn't get out of bed. Moments I wanted to call Tyler and beg him to come back, even knowing what he'd done. But I didn't. I survived. 1 month after the divorce was finalized, I ran into one of Tyler's co-workers at a coffee shop. Mark, a guy who'd been to our house for dinner parties. "Sarah," he said, looking uncomfortable. "How are you?" Fine, I lied. Listen, I want you to know a lot of us didn't know about him and Emma. We all thought, he paused. We thought you guys were happy. So did I said. For what it's worth, things aren't going great for them. The affair was exciting, but real life, that's harder. They fight a lot. She's jealous of his female co-workers. He's resentful that he had to give up half his assets. They're not happy. Part of me was glad to hear it. Part of me felt nothing. Thanks for telling me, I said. You deserve better, Mark said. You always did. Maybe I did. It's been 2 years now since that anniversary. 2 years since I found those messages. 2 years since my husband and my sister destroyed my life. Here's what happened. Tyler and Emma stayed together for about a year. They got engaged 6 months after our divorce was final. Emma wore the ring Tyler had bought for our 10th anniversary, something I only found out from a mutual friend. They fought constantly, according to people who saw them. The excitement of the affair couldn't sustain a real relationship. The trust issues were massive. If he'd cheat on his wife with her, what was to stop him from cheating on her? They broke up 3 months after getting engaged. Tyler moved to California for work. Emma moved back home with our parents, though my mother made her stay in an extended stay hotel and made it very clear she wasn't welcome at family gatherings if I was there. Chose to be there. Emma tried to reach out to me multiple times. Long letters apologizing, explaining, begging for forgiveness. I read the first one. Threw away the rest without opening them. I'm not ready to forgive her. I may never be ready. That's my choice to make, and I'm at peace with it. Tyler reached out once about 6 months ago. A text from a new number. I made a terrible mistake. Sorry. Can we talk? I didn't respond. There's nothing he could say that I need to hear. As for me, I'm okay. Really genuinely okay. I still have the house. I redecorated it so thoroughly that it doesn't even feel like the same place anymore. It's mine now. Just mine. I got promoted at work. I'm a charge nurse now, leading a team, making a difference. I'm dating someone new. His name is Marcus, and he's kind and honest and patient with my trust issues. It's slow and cautious, but it's real. He knows my story. He doesn't judge me for my scars. I finished a marathon last month. Something I never would have attempted before. I'm stronger now, physically and emotionally, than I've ever been. Have better friends now. Real ones. The kind who showed up when I needed them and stayed even when it was hard. I reconnected with my dad's side of the family, people I'd lost touch with. They rallied around me in ways I never expected. I learned that I don't need a partner to be whole. I'm enough on my own. The pain isn't gone. I don't think it ever fully goes away. Sometimes I still wake up and remember, and it hurts all over again. Sometimes I see couples and feel a pang of envy, of loss. Sometimes I wonder what my life would have looked like if Tyler had been faithful. But mostly I'm grateful. Grateful that I found out. Grateful that I didn't waste more years on someone who didn't value me. Grateful that I discovered my own strength. Grateful that I survived. When I think back to that night, to standing in my red dress with Tyler's phone in my hands, my entire world crumbling, I barely recognize that woman. She was so broken, so devastated, so convinced that her life was over. And in a way it was. That life, that version of myself, that future I'd imagined. All of that died that night. But something else was born. I learned that betrayal doesn't have to define you. It happened to me, but it's not who I am. I learned that loving someone doesn't mean letting them destroy you. You can love someone with your whole heart and still walk away when they prove they don't deserve it. I learned that family isn't always blood. Sometimes the people you think will stand by you will betray you, And sometimes strangers will show you more kindness than you ever expected. I learned that healing isn't linear. Some days are good. Some days are terrible. Some days you take 10 steps forward and some days you slide 5 steps back. That's okay. As long as you keep moving. I learned that I'm stronger than I ever thought possible. Strong enough to survive the worst thing I could imagine. Strong enough to rebuild from nothing. Strong enough to trust again, even after being shattered. If you're reading this, if you're going through something similar, I want you to know, you will survive this. It doesn't feel like it now. Right now, you're probably where I was, on the floor in pieces, convinced that you'll never be whole again. But you will. Not today. Maybe not tomorrow. But eventually, you'll wake up and realize that you made it through another day. And then another. And then one day, you'll realize you're not just surviving anymore. You're living. The person who betrayed you doesn't get to write your story. They wrote their chapter, and it was ugly and painful, but it's not the end of your book. You get to write what comes next. And I promise you it can be beautiful. To anyone who's been where I was, you're not alone. You're not crazy. You're not too sensitive or too dramatic or too anything. You're hurt and that's valid. But you're also strong even if you don't feel like it yet. To Tyler and Emma, I don't hate you anymore. I don't think about you enough to hate you. You taught me what I don't want, what I won't accept, what I deserve better than. For that lesson, as painful as it was, I'm almost grateful. I hope you found what you were looking for in each other. I hope it was worth what you destroyed to get it. As for me, found myself. And that's worth more than any relationship ever was. Sarah. I'm a nurse, a friend, a daughter, a survivor. I'm someone who believed in love and got her heart broken and learned to love again anyway. And I'm someone who won't let the worst thing that ever happened to her become the only thing that defines her. If I can do it, you can too. You are enough. You always were. You always will be. And your story isn't over yet.